So, my friends, we are progressing. Buddha, we discussed about 8 factors, but why? Did you contemplate and reflect? Why we discuss about this sorrow, suffering, attachment, and attachments? You see that? That is what the contemplation is. Because our master says, neither we are suffering as a verb and nor we are suffering as a noun. So that is why we need to discuss about it. We need to understand it. So I need to contemplate who exactly is suffering in me. And that is what we discussed in the last 2 sessions. So the Buddha says, again, sit on a lazy chair and with eyes closed, and then you ask yourself, Buddha summarizes the entire teaching in 4 words. Dukkham, dukkham, dukkham. He says the word is suffering, suffering, suffering. Anityam, anityam, anityam. This is discernment. Anityam means not permanent, not permanent, not permanent. See the beauty of it. But if I do not reflect on Charnikam, 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 they are momentary, momentary, momentary. Yesterday I fought with the honey. After that I said sorry. Today there is a little impact. After a week that impact is gone. But I continue to repeat the same thing. That is the problem. Why I repeat it? Ignorance. Ignorance causes the 3 diseases. I'm not repeating it. What are the 3 diseases? You already know. You have contemplated. Then what happens? The Buddha says, Shunyam, Shunyam, Shunyam. So when I reflect on it, I find emptiness, emptiness, and emptiness. Done. Finished. Journey is done. We can ask the question that why I could not discover that permanent peace even after 20, 30, 40 years of practice. What is your take on this? What is your take on this? The master answers, simple. Master says, how far is your home? Means real home. How far is your real home? From the departure point. Take an example, it is 30 miles. How many miles you cover? 10 miles. How many is left? How many is left? 20 miles. That is why I did not discover that permanent peace and happiness. Simple. So now see another point here, the way the master passes on the wisdom. Don't measure meditation by time, by space, by objects, by events. Why? Meditation transcends the time and space. Why you are complaining that you could not reach? You have been doing the practice. I realize that it is better to leave it. There is nothing in meditation. Master says it is because of your ignorance. Ignorance created the 3 diseases plus the 8 factors. Think of this. If you don't find the clarity, and ask the question, So the master says, what should we do? Satasangatve nisasangatvam. I have repeated many a times. Nisangatve nirmohatvam. Means by learning and listening. Do you remember? What is the first point? Learning and listening. Mind, intellect, memory should be there. So that I can hold on to this knowledge when these 8 factors and the 3 diseases attacks me. So by continuous listening and learning about these principles from the masters brings the non-attachment. Now see the solution. Treatment of a disease. Listening and learning, non-attachment. From the non-attachment leads to the right knowledge. Then we contemplate, then only it gives us the right knowledge. And the right knowledge leads us to the steadiness of the mind. And the steadiness of the mind leads to absorption in meditation, and meditation awakens. And now did you get the answer when you say, no, I have been practicing for 20 years. After all, you are doing favor to yourself. Not to anyone. Do you see that? That is how our masters now, after understanding the 3 diseases and the 8 factors, let us pay attention. Yesterday I had a beautiful conversation with the sugar cubes. Sugar, sweetness. So I asked sugar, what shape you want to be? Any shape will do, but I will remain sweet. Can I put it into lemon water? Yes, you can put me, but I will remain sweet. Oh, can I put you by the side of chili, jalapeno? Yes, no problem. No worries. Put me there. Still, I want to remain sweet. Are you understanding? Oh, can I put you in a big box? No problem. Can I put you in a big box? Big box means I'm a millionaire. I have 5 cars. I'm a Bill Gates. No worries. I will remain sweet. Can I put you into the salt? No problem. I will remain sweet. That is our real nature. That will remain real nature. So what happens to me? What happens to me that I do not remain sweet all the time? Answer that question. Now we are a seeker. The real practices have already started. I remain sweet. Can I declare this in any condition, in every condition, with anyone, with everyone, at any time, in any place? You have already discovered. You are already in meditation. Do you see that? But answer, why? It is not happening. We are exploring what is happening behind these 3 diseases. Why it is happening? Have you heard the word acquired nature and the real nature? So real nature of sugar is sweetness. It cannot be undone. You put it into the salt, you put beside the jalapeno, you put it in a small box, you put it in a big box. I've already explained symbolically. I have nothing, no problem. Remain sweet. So that is a pointer of my real nature. Because I live with my acquired nature. And who causes the acquired nature? Go back to the three diseases. Do you remember? Attachment, sorrow, suffering, then delusion. Are you getting it? Acquired nature causes. So from where the acquired nature comes? From the three diseases, 8 factors. Are you getting it? Think of this. Why acquired nature? Ignorance. What I have to do to remove ignorance? How long it will take? I have already answered. See the clarity that our masters passes on. So, before going further, remember the 4 steps: listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, followed by the practice. 4th step results into samadhi, the highest meditation. Do you still remember? The mind, tag it. Hashtag mind, hashtag behavior, attitude. Again, hashtag. It comes from the past impression. Impulsive, instinctive, and habitual nature. That results into 3 diseases of the mind, results into 8 factors. That is why we need to understand it again and again. Repeat again and again. Then I categorized into the first factor the objects of the world, sense organs, mind, and intellect. Do I have an intellect? Am I a human being? Yes. I have a higher self-awareness, and I have the intellect is free. Even the mind is obsessed with the 8 factors. My intellect is alive all the time. Not IQ. I have already clarified it. I don't need an IQ. Totally illiterate. My master ran from the house at the age of 11. He was totally illiterate. Can we dare to say that we taught him how to write the alphabets? You don't need that. Do you remember that? We need a very common sense. And that common sense can be applied by the intellect. So, remember that intellect is alive, that can choose, that can make a right choice amid suffering, amid crying. Everyone cries, Christina. So now we will examine little deeper about this word outside. Master says in Gita, we say the word consists of 3 categories only. We have millions of objects, we have billions of people, we have trillions of events taking place. Time, location or space, and objects. This is what the word is. Can I maintain that awareness? You mix them, all the 3, it creates an event. People, So under the objects comes people, I and you all. Time, 8 a.m. Arizona, Phoenix time. An event is here, session. Can I become aware of the world, the nature of the world? When you become aware of the very nature of the world that I live in continuously. Hey honey, I don't agree with you. Another event. Don't have the acquired nature. Live with the real nature. Now see. Do you find it? Here and now. What is acquired nature? Will cause the ignorance, will cause the sorrow and suffering. Where? Because the word, I borrowed the nature from the word. What consists of? Time, space, means location. I am driving on a highway and I am frustrated. I will meet with an accident. Where? Link it. What we discussed. You mix them, the three, you will see the different event, different conditions outside. Because of these three diseases, I get attached. The moment I have an attachment, that leads to suffering. And suffering keeps me in the delusion. And delusion means the wrong notion that I am suffering. But that I is a sweetness of a sugar. Ask yourself, how come the outer conditions, outer people outside and the time outside influence me and lead me to the acquired nature? Ask yourself. It is only because of attachment. There is no other reason. It is only because of likes and dislikes. And if the likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment are working in the mind, it is only because I am a non-thinker. And the not thinking comes from the intellect. The intellect gives me the knowledge. It gives me the clarity. Think of this. If what masters are saying is wrong, prove it. I remember placebo. This suffering is actually placebo. It is making me aware. If I lose that awareness, I fall into ignorance, then I claim that I am suffering. The world is using a placebo. How can you suffer when your real nature is nothing but the sweetness? This is our master says. Put yourself in the, can I say, in the shoes of a sugar. Sugar says, oh, put me anywhere, in a big or a small box. Put beside me jalapeno or the salt. One voice will come out of that sugar that I will remain sweet. Do whatever you want to do. When I realize this, then I am in the state of meditation 24/7. Think of this. Contemplate and reflect on this. Why we contemplate and reflect? To get rid of the wrong notion. We attack the third disease. So when you attack the third disease, second disease loosens its impact, sorrow and the suffering. When it loses the impact, we realize it is only happening because of attachment. Our master gives us another pointer. Smartphone is there, remote. So look at it with awareness. Does it chase you? And it falls down. Does it say, I am getting hurt? Who gets hurt? Now ask you, who gets hurt? Someone says you crazy. The word crazy hurts you. You are in your real nature. Do you see that? Any object in the world do not chase us, do not attract us, but I am getting attracted. Think of this. Where we are living, how we are living in our daily life. Now go to the sense organ. Ask the sense organ, are you attracted by anything? If eyes are attracted by any object or a person in the world, these eyes will not see any other object except that. It's clear, here and now. You need not to go too far. This is what it means living in the present moment. Simply intellectually saying, no, I'm living in a present moment, that is deceiving and cheating ourselves. What I'm experiencing stress. Oh, live in the present moment. No, unless this knowledge goes into my intellect, and then I separate this suffering from me, then only I can claim I am living in a present. We have picked up the phrases in the words and we say, I live in the... You Google out live in the present moment, you'll find 1 million sites. Think of this. Until we understand this, so understand, can I live into that awareness with the knowledge that no object attracts me, no object chases me, no sense organ chases me? Am I clear? Whether I have beard or do not have a beard, nothing attracts you. What attracts you? The knowledge, awareness is the key. Do you remember what I covered last week? Senses are either doors or the windows. We have only one door, 4 windows. I have a craving for a certain food unless that food you put it on the tongue, then only I get a taste. Right? But the craving lives in the mind. How come? How come that food is too far? How come? 3 diseases, 8 factors. So when I know the answer, why there is a craving, why there is an obsession, why there is an impulsive reaction in the mind, because the mind is a non-thinker. Intellect goes into the background. The mind is dictating me. Why? Because I have an acquired nature. I'm summarizing again and again in a different way. I have an acquired nature. That acquired nature lost the sweetness of a real self, which is hiding behind. And then I claim I am suffering. You are telling a lie when you claim you are suffering. Can I say that? When you say and claim that you don't physical suffering, I can mean it. You fell down, you get hurt. And we have the best treatment available. I'm not going there. I'm talking of suffering. Are you getting it? Differentiate between the two. From today, anytime, if you claim you are suffering, you are telling a lie. Are you not? Can I live into that knowledge, that wisdom? That is the real discernment. That is the real dispassion. Have you started contemplation? By default, this mind will definitely go out through the sense organs. It is the nature of the mind. On Thursday's session, one beautiful woman told me that I was inspired by your talk and I left drinking coffee. It is very easy to drop drinking coffee. And it is very difficult to live in the discernment and still continue to drink coffee. Are you understanding that point? You are blaming coffee. That is why you left it. After a few days, you will praise coffee. You will start taking coffee. Our Eastern wisdom doesn't say that you leave this and... no. It says, do you live in the knowledge? Do you live in the discernment? Because you already have an impression of that coffee. After a few days or years, you will say, oh, let me have it. And the mind will say, now I caught you. Did you understand that knowledge? Our masters are talking about this knowledge. This knowledge. So what happens, last point, then we will start our... So what happens when we follow this contemplation and reflection? Check what is happening to the mind. Mind becomes like a mirror. Mind merges its delusion. The knowledge of the real self reveals That is what the meditation and mindfulness is. I would see that in 10 different texts, the same knowledge is explained differently. Why differently? Because of the specific nature of the students. In different Upanishads, the same topic has been explained differently, depending on the temperament of an individual. Can we live into that state? The moment we live into that state, that is what mindfulness or meditation is. Don't have a very big face. Sometimes people say that, I'm very serious, contemplating. The contemplation doesn't mean that I should have a big face. So let us start our practice now.